Samaritan House and everybody gets here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of go over this. As I said, Tom with Fidelity, Renee with Stewart Title, there are network closing companies. We've got Dustin and we've got Judy Stevens, and there are network lenders. Okay, and then if we could, with the brokers, if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you're with as well. Peggy?
I'm Peggy, I'm with Nagel & Associates.
Pete Withers with Metro Brokers down in Middleton.
I'm Regina Stout with Keller Williams in Grand Junction.
Ray Armandaris with Remax Professionals.
Kim Pittanello with Remax Alliance.
Mike Nagel & Associates.
Okay, and everybody knows Desiree from the other one? All right, one thing we need to do is, everybody does not have their app on their computer, right? Okay, so why don't we go ahead, is that a iPhone?
It's a Droid.
Okay, it should be able to do it. So I need everybody to go to their app store who hasn't. And we're going to look up TechMate, SalesMate. And it's going to look like,
I haven't signed up for anything.
That little icon right there on the right.
the little icon right here that says TechMate is what we need you to download. And we're going to actually get you guys all set up right now. Did you find it?
Passwords and usernames.
Yep.
I know you guys are going to laugh at me. I had a BlackBerry before this. I'm like,
Okay, we're going to go ahead and roll. And then Kim, when we get to the usernames and passwords, we can start hitting on that. All right, guys, welcome to Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation van line software and training. The reason we took everything out and put it on the tables for us to pack up is when you're actually going into a survey, you have to open up every cupboard, every closet, every drawer, because this stuff right here is going on the move, but that's the easy stuff. The reason we wanted you to pack is when you go into a property and you survey, you've got to be able to visualize how many boxes are in there. The reason you have to do that is because drivers are going to only give you 10%. Okay? Anything over 10%, they're going to protest, they're not going to move a thing. Okay?
what do you mean by that?
That means that the drivers get in there, and if it looks like 10% over what their survey is, they stop everything, they're going to count every box, they're going to weigh everything, and if it's over 10%, they are going to protest the move. Okay? And with that means your clients are getting surprises because we didn't survey correctly. Okay?
So what is the actual ramification of that, though? I mean, so they protested, so what happens?
They protest it, and then we go back to our clients, and it's going to cost them more money.
So they just don't move that day. They drive the truck away and
Would there
come back.
be demurrage charges and things like that?
Yes, and storage charges if it goes into that. If you've got people out there, you're going to see a difference between carrier pack and pack by owner. If the carrier's packing it, they're not going to come up with enough material, and then your people are going to pay for them to go back and pick up more material to come do the move. Okay? Key rule is always go, if you have doubts, go a little bit higher, because it's going to be the actual weight and services, just like it was in freight, Regina. It goes your actual or dimensional weight, whichever is greater. The first thing we're going to go to, guys, is our main screen in our app. All right, so in order to start a new survey, you want to go ahead, right here you're looking at, when you first open your tablets or whatever, if you're working on more than one, they're going to all show up here. They're going to be under name. You're going to see the estimate date. That EST is the date you went in and did the survey. You're going to have their first name, their last name, their city, their state, and their zip code. Okay? So that's going to be the first screen you pull up. So if you're going into an existing one, all you need to do is click on that front screen. One thing we found out by user error is if you don't have the name and stuff saved in the system, and you're in there doing a survey and you click out for some reason, you can click anywhere on this screen even though you have not put a name in for your survey, and it's going to go ahead and pull it up again. Okay? But what we should be doing, if you hit the green button, you're going to go to this screen here. This screen here is where you're going to actually put your information so you know what clients you're working with. These are the must-haves of any survey that we're going to have the van lines go ahead and send an estimate back to us. We need to have the shipper's first name and last name. If the consignee is going to the exact same place, then we need their name again in there. Again, this EST date is going to be the date that you did the estimate. Okay?
Just to clarify, shipper is who and consignee is who?
It could be the same person. So if it's the same, go ahead and put same.
So the shipper is the person whose house you're moving?
Yes.
And the consignee
It could be the same, or it
else
could be
who?
going to somebody else.
Like a storage place or a different address?
It's
or
destination?
what?
Is that what you're
It's the
talking about?
destination where we're going to. But say half of the stuff's going to California with the husband because he's starting his new job, the rest of it's staying with the wife, then that would be two different names in there. Okay? Because when they deliver it, they need to deliver it to the person that's on the bill of lading. That's going to be on a local move. That's going to be on a road move, which is an interstate move. On air, it drops a little bit different. On storage, it's at a 7 cube. And on sea, it's on a 7 cube. So when you're looking at it, they're saying, okay, if I fill that box, it's a 1.5, and I times that times 7, that's going to be my weight on that.
On an average, right? Because if you have all canned goods.
It's going to vary.
Heavy as heck. Books, that's but then it's offset by the lighter items you might have.
Yeah, like this chair, if they've got that cubed at a 20 times 7, they're making up that weight. So it goes actual weight or dimensional weight, whichever is greater.
So you're
Okay.
actually trying to figure out the density.
You're not, because it's actually all in here. In your cube sheets, you have the density. The only time that you're going to be figuring out the density is if you have to add it to your sheet. So if you walk in and they have a gun cabinet that looks larger than a normal gun cabinet, then you can go in and you can add that item, and if it looks like 250 pounds to you, make your cube match that 250 pounds. Okay? If it's a hot tub, one thing I do, and Ray brought it last time when we went, is if you walk into a house, they have a lot of glass. People don't have a lot of glass tables anymore. Remember they used to have the big glass kitchen tables that were about 1/4 of an inch thick? All that stuff has to be crated. Okay? Van lines, if it's 1/4 of an inch thick, or a pool table top slate, that's going to have to be crated. So I always take a tape measure that stuff out, and that's going to be the dimensions of your crate, and that's added in. So they've got crates on here, and you would just go in and put your length, width, and height, and then somebody will come out and make the crate for that. Okay?
Where is that?
That'll go when we go back to our survey sheet.
Okay. It's not in this containers, like setup thing.
Now, go to your actual survey. Go to your main menu again, hit survey. And if you look down right underneath your wardrobes, under your carrier pack, you've got your crates where you can put your length, your width, and your height. Now, one thing I always do is I also go to my notes and I put, shipper has a pool table slate, I think is what they're called. I'm not a pool person. Needs to be crated, and then I put the dimensions there too. Okay? It's just like in real estate, disclose, 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 disclose. Same exact thing here. So if it's a gun cabinet, if it's a table, if it's artwork, some people have very expensive artwork. I would suggest that every one of those are graded. I went into a house here in Louisville probably about 20 years ago, and everything in her house, it was a 46,000 pound move. Everything in there had to be crated. Everything in the house had to be crated because it was all so expensive. Okay?
And when you're talking crates, you're talking wood crates.
They actually build wood crates like you and I were used to in freight.
Yeah.
Okay?
So you would just add every one of those in that crate section?
Yes, I would.
Or, Can you add each one of those crates in this section?
Yeah, you can add it in.
Oh, okay.
You can add it like on the front here where it says crates,
Uh-huh.
and then you can add it in your notes, 15 crates to be built.
Oh, I see, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Another place that I use my notes is if somebody says all the appliances are staying, it's kind of like in real estate, we want it in writing. Okay, so if they say all the appliances are staying with the house, I not only don't put them on my sheet, but then I go in and say all the appliances are staying. Because they have to sign this just like they do our documents. And if you get a refrigerator, a washer, dryer, freezer, you're going to go over your 10%. So just cover your butt. Kim, you look like you had a question.
No, I'm looking.
All right, so when you go into your rooms, if you look down here, you've got your living room when you walk in, and you can go down and see all the different items that are in there. So they pretty much have just about everything. If in fact something's not in there, you can go in and add it as an additional thing. Make sure that when you walk in, you switch your rooms, because the driver's going to come in and he wants to know what each room's going to have. Okay? I kind of screw them up when I do that, because when I pack, I'm anal. And I will put all the boxes in the garage. I break down all the beds myself, and I put them down, and they're right at the front door to get them in and out. Because I don't want them there that long. Okay, but not everybody does that. So if it's beds or whatever, go into each bedroom. You've got your living rooms, you've got your dining rooms, you've got your family rooms, you've got every room you could possibly think of. Guest rooms, everything. On the top, and this is going to be huge when you go in, first question I would ask them, are you going to pack or are we going to pack? And if they say, well, we're going to pack part of it and you can pack the other part, let them know. They don't call it insurance in van lines, they call it valuation. And if you look on the very back of your books here, we've got something that says high value inventory. That's your valuation. And with that valuation, they can do a $250 deductible, they can do a $500 deductible, or they can do a $0 deductible. Okay, so with that, they're going to get full placement or full replacement value. So when that happens, and you're looking at it, when they come up with 5,000 pounds, they, based on that 5,000 pounds, unless you ask for more insurance, they're going to do it based off that 5,000 pounds. So they're going to say, okay, you've got 5,000 pounds, your stuff's worth $100,000. And if you say, you know what, this is expensive stuff, I want $2,000, then they'll go ahead and get you that rate.
I have a question regarding the poundage. If you walk in and you go into the living room and there's a couch, a coffee table, coffee tables can weigh a lot. There's a lot of different weights for those. I mean, I have a stone coffee table that I can't pick up. So how does that, if you're just clicking on the form, how does it account for the poundage?
Does it come apart?
No.
Okay. So what I would probably do, Kim, on something like that, because it's stone and it's expensive, I would grade it.
And how do you poundage? I mean, if you're coming up with a pound for the move, how does that work if you're just clicking?
Length, width, and height, do your dimensions.
Okay.
Because once you do that, and then it may come out that your cube on it's going to be a 30, and you think it's going to weigh 400 pounds, then I would do a 50 cube. Just bump up your cube. And if you hold down the items, let's see, okay, so I have a cabinet here. The cube on that is a 10. If you just hold that down in your application, see where it pumps up and you can change your cubic foot?
And that'll automatically take the poundage up.
Yep. And all you got to do is adjust it to whatever you think it should be. So if you think it's going to be 500 pounds, then just bump up your cube. Okay? So that'll bump up your cube. You know it's in the living room. You know that it's a cabinet. You can bump it right up. On your cube sheets, you have large tables. You have small tables. You have bags. You have baby carriages. You have bathroom items, beanbag chairs. When you're looking at some of this stuff, like your stereos, your TVs, all that stuff, Generally, your computer's stuff is gonna be packed in here. Okay, so you mark it down, but you're gonna put a box like a 4 or 5 for it. The packers are gonna come in, they're gonna bubble wrap it if you have the original boxes. And you wanna leave it in that. Leave it out of the original box, have the packers come in and do it, because you want full value replacement. If they opt out of full value replacement, they're getting 60 cents per pound per article. Yes.
Wait a second, repeat that again?
If they opt out of full value replacement, it's just like when we were in freight, Regina, it's 60 cents per pound per article. So if you have a flat panel TV that's a 64 inch, what do they weigh now? Probably 40 pounds tops? Not even? So take 60 cents per pound for that, and that's what